Welcome to Dwarven Forge Live. This is On the Anvil, episode 95. We are here at home, or I'm at home at least, in my attic, because we just got back from Gen Con and we're hanging out, bunkering down. Hopefully we don't have or spread COVID. So welcome. This is the show where we take you behind the scenes here at Dwarven Forge, in this case my attic, show you what we're working on, what we're thinking about, and maybe where we're headed. It's the show where we hang out and interact with you, so ask us lots of questions. Hello, Chris.
Hey, it's been a while since we've done it like this.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of. I realize I have to run the tech too. So.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
So it'll definitely be the show where we don't have any technical difficulties, right?
Hey, Crystal Sully's here.
Hey. Hot
Crystal,
off.
your basilisk is finally on sale.
We can show a picture of that guy. Where did he go?
Do you have one in the office?
Of course I do.
All right.
So what are we?
Today is going to be a much lower key episode than usual because we're still recovering. We've only been back like a day or two, and it was a long weekend from Gen Con. So we're gonna
week.
Today we're gonna talk about Gen Con, and we're gonna also talk about the Wildlands store launch that happened today, because right after getting back, we also did that. So two pretty big events that we wanted to talk to you guys about. They can't hear me.
What? Oh, maybe I should.
Turn it up. Can't hear me.
Yeah.
So I gotta repeat all that? How is this now? Is it better? Is it actually audible? God, my face is so big.
I can deface you maybe. Deface you?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see what happens. You ready? We're gonna.
It's okay. Better.
I'm running. Oh, there you go. How's that? That didn't
Good.
work.
You need to stop using a Mac.
Yeah.
I
No.
think it's the main thing. You either need to stop using a Mac, or you need to get okay with learning how to use virtual audio cables.
Oh, your face really is big.
My face is massive.
Now you get to add
Chris
people.
is really quiet, like his audio is coming out of a laptop. It is.
No, it's coming out of big studio monitor speakers.
Just have to shout? Yeah, that sounds about right.
Is it really?
I'll just get the mic
It's
right
like
up in here.
ear splitting. You've never been this loud in your life. It's really it's a crime. I think. How's that?
All right, is this better? Is it at least audible now? We'll try to have Nate do most of the talking at this point. Pretend you're still at Gen Con. All right.
Put on a mask and shout. Yeah.
All right. So basically, what I was saying before, today is going to be like a much more lower key sort of episode. We were at Gen Con last week, and then today we did the Wildlands store launch. So it's been two pretty major events, and we wanted to talk to you guys about how those went, what we learned from them, all that jazz.
We'd love some feedback.
So I'm not sure if we're even going to be going like the full 2 hours this week or not.
Chris,
but-
who are we kidding? Have we ever done an episode that ended up short?
We usually run out of things to talk about. Not true.
And then just start building.
But yeah, so we're just going to talk about those things.
But and we'll do at the halfway point. We'll do a giveaway. So feel free to remind us. Sometimes we forget, every now and then. So you can feel free to remind us. And we're what are we giving away, Chris?
A $50 Dwarven Forge gift card for the web store. You can win this no matter where you are. I assume as long as you're on Earth. International giveaway, $50 gift card. You can use on anything you want in the Dwarven Forge online store, web store.
Even if you're in like the International Space Station, I think you're eligible.
Even from international waters, even I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, please ask us questions. Throw in your ideas. We really do like interacting with you guys. That's why we are here. And welcome to is anybody here? We got Crystal Sully's here, so we already got royalty in the house. We got anybody new here?
iRomantic is here, and I'm pretty sure, I think he met us at Gen Con because he joined the Discord as well.
Welcome. Any old classics?
Always old classics. Junior Crow 2000, first time here. Greg is here. Charles here.
Charles is here.
Finley Shards is here. Wilderness Encounters is here. Everyone's here.
All right.
We have 100 people.
All right. Well, let's rock and
roll.
roll. All right. You ready?
Everyone's here. All right. Yeah. All right.
All right. So, because we have some news. I don't know why. The news. I lost it. I denewsed. That was weak. I don't know what happened. Our soundboard broke really badly. Someone at Gen Con came by and asked me to do the news live, but
did they record it?
No.
That would have been sick.
Yeah.
Right, well.
All right. So what's in the news?
Well,
don't die, Chris. We're on the air, live on the interweb.
First thing, big thing. We alluded to it earlier. The Wildlands store launch was today. So if you've been waiting to get on Wildlands, you somehow haven't heard about this, there's still some stuff left. So you can go check that out. It's also probably good to plan on picking up. Hey, stop. Hey, come here. No, leave that alone. Hey.
Picking up whatever's left because we sold a lot. Record-breaking sales for us. It was great.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is we talked before about we're actually doing a price increase in the store, and that's going to be happening fairly soon. We need to set an actual timeline for it. I'll give you a heads up before it actually happens. But we've never actually increased the prices on anything, and there's some stuff that's been in that store for like 7 years, and production's gotten more expensive, shipping's gotten more expensive, and we can't really keep the prices the same as it's been the entire time.
We'll give you some fair warning before it goes up, and give you a last chance to get stuff before the prices go up. But
yeah,
it's gonna be the older sets. The prices go up more than the newer sets. I don't think the Hellscape price is gonna go up at all. But I think it's roughly like averaging like a 10 to 15% increase. Which, considering how long some of this stuff's been around, we're not even keeping up with inflation. So.
No,
we're really.
That's the thing. So like the Wildlands prices aren't going to go up, for example, because we've literally like just released those. It's really more like the further back you go, the more it's like prices have increased to make these things since we first released them. So the increase will be happening to offset it.
So if you're not on the mailing list, this is a good time to jump on the mailing list, so you'll know before the prices go up, before Cities Untold launches, before everything. You'll be the first to know.
Yeah, so old cities and castles, like, those will be pretty heavily affected because those were like, what, 2017, 2018?
Let's not. Yeah. We'll let everybody know once we actually have some real numbers and what it is in whatever next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Before we start massive conjecture.
The other big thing, we want to touch on reliquaries.
Oh wait.
What's up?
Wait, Wildlands,
yeah.
We're basically done. We have the last piece of the Bleakmire module, which is going to go up this week, and then we'll have delivered everything we said we'd deliver. We'll have given everybody their stuff. We have even Todd from Die Hard Dice he'd forgotten to fill out his order. Eric caught him at Gen Con. He's like, you got to fill in your order. You're one of the last people missing. So we'll be done. Well, Wildlands after 47 years or whatever it is, we're done. It's pretty exciting. So we're going to send our last formal Wildlands update out tail end of this month with here's a roundup of everything and thank you. And I can't believe it's done. Done.
Yeah.
Woo!
It's been a journey. I mean, we launched our most complicated Kickstarter yet.
Yep.
During a pandemic because we thought it was getting close to over, and then it actually just wound up getting worse.
Hey, it lived up to its name. It was these were wild lands we explored.
Yeah.
Yeah. But speaking of things that are on their way to getting done, what was going on with Reliquaries, Chris?
Reliquaries Kickstarter, we have finished production for everybody's for all of our backers' sets. All this stuff is packed up, and I believe it's just waiting to get onto a ship to come over here.
We even have samples. All the boxes. While we were gone, all the rest of the boxes showed up with full samples of everything. So we've got 7 die arrays of all the stuff. Tyler's poked through it. When we get back in the studio next week, I will take a look. So it's gonna be great. But we're on target, like in a, we should be roughly on target. We probably won't get it till very end of September, beginning of October, which means we'll be shipping in October. We'd originally estimated when we launched the campaign that we'd be shipping in September, I believe. So we're back by like a month. But that's, all things considered, that's not so bad in this current climate. Although it's not on a boat yet, so anything could happen.
That's really the biggest thing. If it gets on the boat that it's supposed to get on, and it doesn't have any tragedies crossing the ocean, and then from the warehouse we ship it out to everybody, and there's no issues there, we should have these in the web store in time for the holidays.
Woo!
Which would be excellent. They're very good presents. So I really hope that.
More importantly, we should have them in everybody's hands before Thanksgiving. That's the really important one.
That way you can make them part of your Thanksgiving displays.
Then your Christmas village. Yeah. We can test German customs again. See how that works out.
Yeah. God. Oh God.
Anyway, that's flashback. So what else? What else is in the news?
It'll be fine this time. What else in the news? Hey, a couple weeks ago, right before Gen Con, we released dice sets for Reliquaries will be in the store. We'll be selling basically everything that we sold in the Kickstarter. We released another painting video. We did a bonus painting video with Hamster, where we talked specifically about doing weathering effects and rust and stuff like that. We've also shot 4 more of those, and they're gonna start going up. The goal is basically we've always done painting videos that were just here's how to do this paint scheme for our Kickstarter, but there's a lot of stuff when it comes to the small pieces and accessories and everything that kind of gets left out because they don't follow the main bread and butter paint scheme. And so these videos are an attempt at kind of covering all those sorts of things. So the other videos that we have coming out is a tutorial on how interference paints work, a video about doing increased contrast, like how to make your highlights brighter and your shadows darker, and a video on doing specifically transparent and LED pieces, and then a video about doing a fall paint scheme for Dread Hollow trees, which is also kind of a walkthrough of how to design your own paint scheme for the wilderness. So if you want to do something other than a fall paint scheme, you can pick your colors that you want to use and kind of follow the process that Hamster goes through to design your own paint scheme.
These are all fun. It's sort of how to punch up your pieces, like things you could do if you got factory finished pieces. Here's some stuff you can do to zhuzh them up a little bit or tweak them or whatnot. Or of course you can just start from scratch and do it all the way through. Yeah, they're fun. Do you know what
I was wondering is if anybody has any other topics that aren't in those that you've wondered that aren't kind of main bread and butter paint schemes, but are more stuff like that. I'd love to hear what sort of stuff you're interested in hearing, so that when we do another wave of these, we can cover those topics. Because we shot everything that we could think of off the top of our heads, kind of in a big batch, and have been cutting them together. But yeah, if there's anything else, let us know.
You know, it was amazing. Someone came up to me at Gen Con. Well, lots and lots of people came up to me at Gen Con. But in particular, one person came up to me at Gen Con and said, you know what, I was always intimidated about painting, but I got some of your stuff unpainted and I figured it was terrain, it might be easy enough to start. And I watched your videos that you have on painting terrain, and it gave me the confidence to start painting terrain, and I really, really loved it. And then I was like, well, maybe I'll try some minis, and now all I do is paint minis, and I absolutely love it. And I got, it wouldn't have happened if I didn't watch these painting videos. So it's a slippery slope. So don't watch our painting videos, or next thing you know, you're just going to be tackling your pile of opportunity.
It's an expensive hobby.
Yeah.
But you're used to those, right? Yeah, that's basically all of that stuff. The other thing we want to do, we've got 2 Kickstarters.
Woo!
And then we'll get into answering people's questions and talking about Gen Con. First one is Tabletop World has another Kickstarter going. They make beautiful buildings, and they're doing some houses this time around that we think will actually go really well with cities, both our upcoming Cities on Hold Kickstarter and our original cities. They do pretty good stuff. We think things will be good. So that Kickstarter's live. I just put the link to that in chat if that sounds interesting to you.
Let's see if I can zoom out. Whoa. This is this angle is all Dutch like crazy. I don't know what's going on here. Well, this is a sample of one of their like previous buildings they did. I can't even get it in the camera here, but they're very fragile resin. Like these things they will break. They're very, very fragile, and they're not wildly modular. They just like pop off in levels, but they do really, really beautiful work. Their sculpting is nice, and you can get some buildings that you could add some other character to your Cities Untold or regular cities builds. They do great work, and they can use your support. They're really talented folks. Where's the how do you connect this? Woo! For all that stuff.
And then our friend Flaming Flamingos, who does the Wild Earth dice collection,
Mitten.
Has just launched his new project. He did a bunch of like kind of nature-inspired dice effects before. That was like the first like Wild Earth collection. And then he did a bunch that were like galactic inspired. Like right there, he's pointing out some of the space, the cosmic collection. I think it's called.
Yeah.
No, that's Wild Earth. Yeah.
This was the last. No, these were cosmic. I think this was from the cosmic batch. But really nice small batch dice. Really cool effects. And these cyberpunk themed dice are wild.
Mm-hmm.
There's some really neon colors and UV reactive stuff and whatever, but once again, tiny dice creator trying to make some neat stuff, worth checking out.
Yeah, they have like really nice like black light and like glow in the dark effects on the dice. They're pretty sick.
Yeah.
Okay,
Woo.
I think that is all the news. Let's cover questions and get into Gen Con. I mean, one of the questions I saw was how was Gen Con, which is the thrust of this episode. So
we'll talk about it for an hour. Don't worry, we got that. Cool. Any other news? We can news.
That's all of it.
All right. So it was your first Gen Con, Chris. What was your what's your 30 seconds or less summary of Gen Con?
It felt a lot like Comic-Con, but with more focus, I guess. Like, because I've done New York Comic-Con a couple times, and Gen Con was similar in the sense of it felt very focused on a lot of the fandom aspects of it. A lot of the stuff of seeing celebrities and influencers and higher end stuff. And it also clearly had like a bigger pull where we had like major companies like advertising there and stuff.
Like eBay had like a 2-story.
Yeah.
eBay had a 2-story booth. Like they had a union crew building like riders. Because eBay is a very known game maker. Yeah.
It was that's the thing I was wondering is I was like, what is eBay gonna do here? They don't make any of their own stuff. Are they gonna list other people's auctions? Like what?
No, they made a game or something. I don't know. Man. Well.
And then
you go.
Yeah, and but it was more focused on. It still actually felt like it was focused on tabletop and board games, which was nice. Because with Comic-Con, it kind of feels like it's actually lost its focus on comics largely.
Is more
but Gen Con still felt very focused on the actual tabletop circles.
I mean, there were just thousands and thousands of tables of people playing games everywhere. Like it's definitely. So I made a list of my Gen Con thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So first off, I was very heartened by their COVID policies. Right, having to be vaccinated and masked. People were really good about being masked. I was pretty apprehensive. We were all pretty apprehensive about hopping on a plane and descending, 50,000 people descending on the booth and whatnot. And I thought, all things considered, Gen Con did their part to try and keep people safe. That being said, holy moly, we've already heard. We were counting before the stream. I think we know 7 people that have tested positive so far that we found out about. So far, nobody on the team has tested positive, but everybody that was at Gen Con is basically taking the week at home, testing repeatedly before we go back into the studio. So we're trying to, if we do have a positive case, sort of minimize the spread. We urge any of you that attended to maybe do something similar, because man, you definitely, if you were at Gen Con, you definitely crossed paths with somebody that was COVID positive, if not many somebodies. So please be careful. But I felt pretty good about what Gen Con was at least trying to keep people as safe as they could.
Yeah, at least in the exhibitor hall and stuff, like inside the convention, it was like super solid.
Yeah.
When you go out into Indianapolis, nobody was wearing anything.
Free for all.
They were just all nudists. But
like my kids, yeah.
Yeah. As soon as we left the convention center, it was another story. But inside the exhibitor hall, which is the only time we really hung around people, anyways, it was pretty. It was pretty tight.
Wow. Yeah, it was. I think as good as it could be, and I hope. Hopefully we'll see what next year holds. Hopefully we'll be maybe over this hump, but if not, I hope they continue to try and keep everybody safe.
Yeah.
It was a really nice reminder how many amazing people there are in the industry. Like, I'd forgotten, just how many familiar faces there are. I've been to a few of these conventions, and there's all these folks you remember, and it was really nice to reconnect with folks. Everybody from, like, Crystal, who's here, get to actually go over and say hi and see her in the flesh and meet Travis in Trevor, husband. Oh man, well, begins with a T, and he has a beard, and he's delightful. I think it's Trevor, her husband, and her booth beard in person, and celebrate her successes, and across the board, just everybody with so many wonderful industry friends. It was really nice to see everybody and reconnect and see them surviving and flourishing, and a lot of people did really well, right? Like, there was some.
Crystal had a great show.
Jim, who does stat trackers, had a good show. Not great show, but good show. Eldritch Foundry had some good exposure. The Elderwood folks did pretty well. Like, across the boards, it's just nice to see the companies we're friends with doing well and still surviving and moving ahead. And the industry's doing okay. So it was really fun. And man, there's just some good folks. The Die Hard Dice folks, some of my favorite people in the world. Just so many friends and smiles and people I hadn't seen in a while. Well, you're not actually sure if everybody's smiling because you've got a mask on. And you're trying to recognize people like this, and And I have the disadvantage of being relatively recognizable even with a mask on, because some of my more recognizable features are topside. So it's then I'm.
You also have like a. You also have like a children's cartoon level identifiable outfit where you wear the same thing.
I have an established uniform, and the mask doesn't cover my own distinguishing features, so I'm pretty recognizable. And then I have to try and figure out who the heck is who from out there. But yeah, but it was nice to see folks, and you got to reconnect with some of the folks you'd seen at Adepticon, and introduce me to some of those people you'd seen, and it was just really nice to. See our industry friends and see how people are growing and their successes. Like I was saying, like Crystal is blowing up, and Brian Collin, who's a sculptor, has a whole booth of cool stuff now, and Jim has new products and with stat trackers, and sort of everybody. Die Hard had these dice that are they look like they're metal dice, but they're just plastic. So they're 2-color plastic dice and the same effect. Yeah. And just everybody, like, just all this neat stuff, all this great momentum from all these folks. It's really I love seeing it. And then also it can remind you of if you have any industry enemies that you maybe don't like them anymore, still, or whatnot. Any thoughts on that, industry friends?
It was really nice. Yeah, it was nice getting to talk to the Broken Anvil and
Free blades.
And the people at DGS Games who do free blades again, because we talked to them at Adepticon, because we shared a booth with, not shared with, we were right next to DGS, and so talked to them a lot of con, and they're like super nice, and because it was our first time there, and we were nervous about that stuff, and they've been doing this forever. So they were like super welcoming there, and it was nice to connect to them. And I was glad that you got to meet them as well.
Yeah,
because
I really liked
something we just talked about. They're all super nice, right?
Yeah. Well, the idea that they wanted to be really accessible. They were giving the rules away for free. You could just download the PDF, and like they're like, it's not about the rules. It's about we want to get people to get the models and get in and play. And I don't know. It was really they're like we want to be an accessible war game that everybody can play, which sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really it was fun. I'm at sort of speaking of industry enemies, the thing that the thing that I learned or sort of was reminded of was that people think that we don't like other terrain makers or something. There's this sort of there's some, I don't know, stigma or something, or they're like, oh well, like, clearly they wouldn't want to like, even like Matt Mercer apologized that he was using other people's terrain when I was out. I saw some taping at their thing, whatever, and he's like, oh, sorry. I was like, you're allowed to use all the tools that you need. Like, it doesn't matter. I was at the Galadoria Games booth talking to Kevin, seeing his latest Kickstarter stuff, and he does great work. He's a friend of ours, and I saw someone there that had been talking to us at our booth about things, and they said, oh, I'm sorry, I use a bunch of other stuff. I'm like, of course you do. Like, there's not, like, you're allowed to buy all the terrain, whatever terrain you want, and like, it's not a, I have terrain from other people, like, across the boards too. Like, it's just they're just tools.
We literally just told people to buy Tabletop Worlds buildings today as we're ramping up for a buildings Kickstarter at the end of the year.
Yeah, but because it's complementary stuff. Like, there's plenty of room for plenty of terrain on people's tables. Like, we don't own the thing, but it's like, I don't know why people think we hate every other terrain maker or something, but no, there's lots of these folks we are friendly with and supportive of, and hope that they do well, because the more people that are using the terrain, the better, right? The better fun tables, and some of them might come buy stuff from us and some might buy from them, but it's just keeping the hobby going, and wow, there's plenty of room for everybody in it.
Yeah.
While at Galadoria, someone was asking him about the terrain accessories pack, and it was complaining that it didn't come with all the tiles and was like expensive, but it was a very affordable pack, and it's great painted. Kevin sells the stuff hand painted and this whole thing, and I was like, no, that's a really good deal. He goes, yeah, you're right. I was at a Dwarven Forge booth, and man, that stuff is expensive. And I was like, you can tell me. And he's like, no, really, it's like bonkers. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I know. He was like, yeah. And he looked at my shirt and said, wait, are you with Dwarven Forge? I said, I do a few things. So he's like, oh. He's like, oh, well, no, your stuff's really nice. I'm like, no, I know it's expensive, but this is a good deal. You should get this average pack.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think it's a thing of a lot of people kind of flatten the terrain and like mini industry into one big thing and say it's all like a very similar product. Mm-hmm. So they probably like look at like Galadoria's like stuff there, and they're like, well, if I can buy an STL of this for cheaper, then that means this is overpriced. And it's like, that's such a different thing. Like, it happens with our stuff too. Sometimes people will say like, you can just get a bunch of they'll like compare like a painted pack of our stuff to somebody's like unpainted, unassembled like pack of stuff, and be like, well, this is cheaper, so it's clearly a better deal. And it's like, it's a different product first off. We don't do
log in your time building it and detail and whatever, and no, it's all it's and like Kevin makes his stuff literally to complement Dwarven Forge stuff. Like Galadoria, he's a long time backer. He's trying to do stuff. He pings us relatively regularly to sort of see what we're up to. So he's like trying to not cross over too much. He's like, with his last one, he's like, I'm going to be doing this stuff. It's not like, I don't think cross over to cities, right, and whatever. And it's trying to make stuff that's not like just dipping in the same bits. And the Monster Fight Club folks are making neat stuff and doing their thing. Like, there's plenty of people making cool terrain. So there's plenty of room for everybody. Other things I learned. Uh, reliquaries caught people's attention, right?
Yes.
It was very reaffirming. It's no secret that the reliquaries Kickstarter didn't get as much support as we were hoping. We were hoping we'd get more new people, whatever. But seeing it at the convention, it was doing everything we thought it would. Right? It was catching people's attention that weren't necessarily they were ignoring the 40 feet of terrain, and they were like, "What is this? This dice roll. This is for me. This is interesting. This is whatever." It was easier to understand, whatever. But there was it was always kind of hopping around the reliquaries. There was neat momentum. I was excited.
Yeah. I think I got more questions about how to buy reliquaries than anything else, and more requests to just buy the net. That or core sets. Core sets and reliquaries were two things where people kept they'd reach for their wallet okay, so how much is it to get this thing?
And what do you mean you're not selling it?
Sorry, we're not selling them here.
This was here's a shot of speaking of reliquaries, our RG Dice Boutique came by and put one of their this is their chromatic, one of a kind chromatic. This is the Tiamat die on the Dwarven Smith. See how it looks, and man, it looked really go figure. Looked great. Very cool moment.
She was really awesome.
She's just delightful, so talented, so humble, and just awesome across the boards. What was the other picture I had this time? This was a funny one. It's not much of a picture of anything, but it was just sort of showing you what we had to build this whole you show up, and there's just a taped out square on the ground, 10 feet by 20 feet. It's like, oh, this is your booth. This is an empty square on the ground. So this is all we had to, cobble this thing together with a whole bunch of plastic shelves, screw some wood to the top, cover it with cloth, throw a bunch of staples on there, and you get this rickety booth. Meanwhile, there's these giant crews with cranes and stuff erecting these, I don't know, I-beams with lights and all this nonsense. We're definitely more the DIY approach.
Yeah, well, our setup basically it was 2 12-hour days back to back, basically, to build this whole booth out and then put all the builds on top of it. Because it was just 6 of us.
Well, and it's no air conditioning. They don't bother until the convention starts. They don't turn on the air conditioning. They don't turn on the lights. There's only a single light in each bank of lights. They have one light on. The bay door is open, so there's hot, humid air just rolling in, and you're masked in this thing, this hot box, just trying to build out a thing. And we had to cover. Chris put together 15 feet of store display, right?
Oh,
it was I don't know how many sets we had up there, but all laid out and displayed. Toby's was building a big chunk at 8 feet of display. Eric put together Hamster's war game build. It was really cool. We had Hamster did a war game build on Mustafar with Star Trooper Legion figures, so as stormtroopers storming across the lava, and that got people's attention.
It was somewhere between 20 to 30 sets in the store section.
Wow.
Because it was covering the core sets for every biome, and then including scatter sets for cities and castles, and then a bunch of wilderness scatter, and then a bunch of other random scatter for different biomes like Hellraiser and stuff like that, and then some Wildlands preview sets saying this stuff's gonna be coming on Wednesday, and then the minis. Actually, we had 10 different minis. Actually, yeah, it was over 30 if you count the minis.
Well, it was a great sampling of what to offer. Actually, I have let me just play I have the video. I did a video walkthrough of the build I did on this corner for folks who weren't there. They can see. And this was the thing we started on. We did a couple episodes on the Anvil building this thing. So it was fun. Several people came up to me and said, "Oh yeah, I was seeing it build, and it's so cool to actually see it here." So this is. Let's see if I can get this working. This is the. Quick walkthrough. Let me turn off the. Oh no, that's my mic. No, wait. There's audio. I'll turn off the narration. So this was the Cities Untold teaser, and I actually have a fly through of that too. We could watch a longer one that if people want to sort of see some up close, high res versions of what we had there. And this was just trying to show off like all the wildlands. I had to go over those. The gal from Steamforge was filming at the same time, so I had to jump over her with the camera. Hey, I don't think too much stuff went missing. Speaking of looking at the little crystal caverns, that was we lost the mimic. The mimic that was up there disappeared, and but I think everything else. People are super respectful. Nobody broke anything. Nobody. A lot of people tried to touch when they shouldn't, but how do you not want to? And I don't think anybody wandered off with the crystal caverns pieces or any of the resin pieces or any of the really hard to get stuff. Try to jam in all the as much stuff as possible. Hellgate. Vancouver the Dragon was supposed to be there. I don't know where she is. I don't think she wandered off though. Got the Dwarven Forge in there because you've got to. Changing the batteries is probably the worst part of the whole thing. It's every morning swapping out batteries, and that hellscape.
The hardest part was Snowy had a couple of the LED for Thick and Temple corners, and he had them under like 3 layers of terrain, like pushing in the middle of the build. So it was like to get to those was painful.
And this was Sunday morning. That video was Sunday morning after the whole convention, so everything held up pretty well. Hadn't wandered off too much. It was damn fun. Should I show the? Do people want to see a closer fly through of the cities preview?
They'll want to see everything you have.
Okay. Let's see if we can do this. All right, we'll go back to cities and turn that on. All right, this is a walkthrough or boom. All right, so whoop. I'm zipping around. Everybody's scrubbing around. Once again, this is early morning. Everybody's
bare legs.
Yeah, look at those legs. So lots of dock chicanery, seawalls. People that were there, I was happy to show off how the sort of seawalls work and the 1-inch elevation rise, but you get a little taste of it here. And mostly older stuff, but lots of neat little scatter. Little tiny please do not touch signs that Janet made. The hoist in action, like that. That's probably the best pole accessory we've ever made. That thing is just awesome. Our test castings of the roofs in there and all their grandeur. Trying to cantilever out a building to give it a little sense of what the biscuit system can do. Narrow doors down there. It's good stuff. Lots of all these little scatter details. Never get tired of the little scatter details. There's your bare legs again, Chris. Using the wood walls. We're gonna have to change them from interior walls to, I think, like wood plank walls or something, because they're really good for doing alleys or doing like little between the alleys, like little yards and breaking up those outdoor spaces. Like, I don't want to call them interior walls. They're now just like, they're just walls. You can use your original City Builder balconies. Lots of City Builder original window inserts and magnetic chimneys that are all going to work. So you can crisscross. There's a lot of cross compatibility going on here. 1-inch rise. Why that guy has an imp on the stage with him, I'm not sure. It's a play or something, I think, right? Everybody's watching, the kids are watching. Oh, that was supposed to be the smoking thatched roof. We didn't quite get it finished. Oh, kills me. It's not for lack of trying. This magnetic gable, which I don't think people had seen before. It's going to have an LED inside, so you have flickering lights in your attic. It's first taste of ashlar. Since this, Aaron has revisited the paint scheme, is trying to get it more cohesive so that the corner posts jive with the walls better. And that was our first taste of the stained glass windows. Trying to show off some of the all the accessories inside there. It's a little hard to see. It's a little slightly easier to see in person when you're in there. Sort of in the tavern, you could peek in and see what was up. And 2x2s. Best we could cobble together with basically only a couple of 2x2s, a couple of 2x4s, just a handful of ashlar. Woo! That was somebody from Monster Fight Club coming over to say hi. It's just early in the morning. Woo! Dunzo. Whew. Any thoughts from the folks on C2?
Skywalker says he doesn't have money for this, man.
Well,
MC Charles is apparently he was at the booth and a visitor jumped in to explain what Dwarven Forge was to him.
how'd that go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Really Right is wondering if we have a new balcony plan.
Yes.
There's going to be two expanding walls.
Wait, go again?
The interior walls that we're now using outside, he's like, why don't we just call them freestanding walls?
Yeah. And they just have wood in the name because there are other freestanding walls in the world, but yes. Freestanding wall system, wood plank freestanding wall system or something like that. Wood freestanding
Standing
wall
wood.
Vertical wood.
Let's see.
Still giddy.
Oh, apparently the name was like, oh, Charles? And the dude did like a deer in the headlights, like, oh, they know him thing, apparently. I don't remember this.
Amazing.
People are really excited about the stained glass.
It's gonna be awesome. We have here's a sheet of some.
Will there be an adventure?
Here's some
Two
first.
questions, actually. Wondering if we'll have a narrative.
Here's some first tests that Janet was doing for stained glass designs, and the colors are all too similar. Actually, should I go show close up? Let's show a close up. Let's give some beanage.
And don't worry, the final thing won't be pieces of paper.
It's gonna be glossy acetate.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
some-
this paper is just how we're testing it.
Some tests of stained glass window designs. It's gonna be glossy, translucent acetate, much like. Right, like these are actually less like. I take it back. It should be like the. Wait.
Yeah. The idea is basically we want these to be interchangeable so that you can change what this name is. Like a church like Vecna would look very different
So you
than
can
a church.
swap out your colors. They'll be clear. Light will come through. A nice, beautiful color. And they'll light up from the inside. It'll look good. So we had some stained glass. It's gonna be awesome. Church of Vecna.
So that way you'll be able to customize what your what the vibe of the building is.
Yeah, I think people are gonna get fired up. Should be
stained glass and clear dwarvenite? No, it's gonna be acetate, I believe.
Yeah. So it'll be super flat, super thin, and we can just slide. There'll be little die cut bits you can just slide in and change out. There'll be a slot on the bottom of the wall, and you can slide in and change them out, or just take it out completely if you want the window to pass through. If you want to not make it the classiest building ever, it can just be cool mullioned windows, arched windows.
Oh, it was Tim that was explaining to Charles. Okay, that's pretty funny.
Well, that's people want to help out, want to show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's appreciated.
Well, the stained glass things are the same size as wall inserts, like ossuary nook style. I think they're smaller, right?
A little
They gotta
bit
fit in the
smaller.
window
Do I
slots.
have one here? Let's see. Well, it's gonna slot in from below, but yeah, it'll be slightly smaller than the ossuary stuff. It'll be specifically custom to the window that it slots into, and it will look awesome. We'll have a couple
You get
of
different cultures in here: elven, dwarven, vampires, etc. That's the idea, right? It's like to make a whole set of like, oh, these are elven walls and dwarven walls, and vampire walls would be a lot. But if we can use facades and other accessories to let you change the look of the basic pieces, it's way more manageable.
Exactly. What's vampiric culture known for besides blood consumption?
Just being real hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't really do a lot of work. You just sort of lounge around and look attractive.
I think gothic stuff in general.
Yeah. Maybe you'll go to a rave if Blade's gonna be there.
Fit checks. Will you have extra big stained glass? Fredo wants to know.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, I wasn't sure we were going to confirm that or not.
Yeah. It's a coming.
Alright.
We'll wait and see.
Any broken windows? Alright, Rabbit.
Not yet. Rabbit wants to ruin everything. It must be destroyed, right? For such a sweet, nice guy, he has a warmonger. He wants everything in ruins, war torn everything.
I like how the Gen Con turned me into a sitting teacher.
Yeah, right. Yeah. All right, let's go back to Gen Con. Other things I learned from Gen Con. There were a lot of Mohawks. Did you notice that there like the proliferation of Mohawks this year?
Yeah,
Big.
you gotta
It's big.
change, man.
They're all chasing.
Your hair's getting pretty cringe.
I know. It's also all over my face. Yeah, it's
They're all
it's
the
mainstream.
boomers now.
They're boomer style. I
All
you know
these boomers with their mohawks and trick pants.
trick pants.
You don't wear trick pants, but you would wear trick pants.
Is that like the breakaway kind that you just you rip off?
They could be. It's
Yeah.
the pants with like a bunch of chains. They're meant for wearing when you break dance.
Oh, for doing like tricks. So,
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's why I stopped breakdancing because I couldn't get any trick pants.
Apparently, Crystal almost said hi to two other people who weren't you because of the mohawks.
I'm telling you, they're everywhere.
Is mohawk the new beard? Yeah, you just kind of flip it around. Better get a mullet now. Just do the opposite of a mohawk.
Yeah, Hawkmo. Yeah.
I guess that would just be like the original like Dungeon Master
Yes.
hairstyle, huh?
We did the Gooey Cube game. It was very fun. I really wholeheartedly enjoyed myself. I got a picture, couple pictures here to show. What do we have? It was bonkers. I think is this it? All right, so it was up on this stage, big old table, cool cameras, and he just showed up with buckets. It was like 6 a.m. He had like buckets and buckets and buckets of Dwarven Forge terrain. It's like, we need to build something. Can you like rally up the team, build something? And it was actually really fun. So we got, wait, it's the wrong one. We got like, I don't know, he had 4 or 5 volunteers there that were all part of the Gooey Cube team, and I was like, just dump stuff out. I'm like, all right, put this here, and a lot of people had never built before, and suddenly it was this fun collaborative thing. Everybody's like booming in, and boom, look at like all sorts of crystal caverns, Underdoom to die for, crystal caverns every which way. Enough. I don't know if you can tell that Dread Hollow Forest was like, it was a mix of Wildlands and Dread Hollow. It was 4 feet deep by almost 4 feet long. It was like an enormous amount of forest coverage, all just jammed together and like in medley. But very fun to put together. And then the game itself was, we were sitting up there with a big rowdy crowd, and it was fun. It was bonkers. People were lively. There were so many giveaways, bunch of money raised for charity, and when I got swapped out, Paul Hofstetler took my place, which was just amazing. So he had big shoes to fill, and did it in his cowboy hat and all. It was like It was awesome. Actually, you can see him in the audience there. He's second row back, right behind the kid in the green.
Look for the cowboy hat, yeah.
Yeah, well, he took it off out of politeness for anybody behind him. Yeah. It's a fun time. So hopefully we'll do it again next year. I don't know if anybody watched. Apparently the stream didn't work unless you watched it on Gen Con.
Yeah, Gooey Cube's personal stream apparently had major issues, but Gen Con TV was fine.
I would love to see a VOD. My kids wanted to watch it and they couldn't because the stream wasn't streaming.
I'm sure it's there.
Yeah, my internet foo isn't very strong. I haven't.
I didn't see it because I was working the booth while you were there. Because since you were doing that game, like we were more short staffed than we already were. So I didn't see any of it, but
it was fun. So my last musings on Gen Con were it was just, I mean, it's no surprise. It was so marvelous to see everybody that we got to see. The people, so many faces, old and new, stopped by the booth. Got to see so many cool pictures of people's builds, and people showing me like custom cabinetry that they made for the game room to hold their stuff, and just moments of building with their kids, and hearing stories of all the fun shenanigans that sort of Dwarven Forge had helped them with. I signed a Spelljammer book. Like, we had really just so nice to see so many folks, and then people, getting people's screen names and getting a face with their name, and people they hadn't seen for ages and remembering them. It was just so delightful for everybody to stop by. It meant a lot. I was so bummed I didn't meet Von Dragos.
Really? He was there a couple times.
And maybe I didn't. He didn't tell me that was him. I don't know, but that was my one disappointment. I didn't think I met everybody else in the world.
He was there for the picture.
Maybe I just don't know
Did
what.
you just not know he was Dragos?
Yeah, you have to show me him in the picture then.
Yeah.
Because he's.
I'm like he was in the booth a couple times. I swear to God, you talked to him.
Absolute genius builder. I just probably don't know the screen name. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But man, it was just started and giving out free pieces, so fun. Get people hooked.
Jeffrey's in chat. Let everybody know that you signed a Spelljammer book.
I did. I gleefully, absolutely. Well, anything if we've said it on the air here, it has to happen. So we had to make that happen. It was very. It
was very fun getting to see people's faces after you built up an expectation based off of screen name and profile photos and stuff.
Yeah,
that was always very fun. I don't think anybody looked like what I had pictured in my head with no information.
And I don't even know what I pictured. NPC Charles, just so unassuming. I guess I was expecting Andy Warhol character to just waltz in or something.
I was expecting something very similar to the image he uses. Which is
a red tiefling, yeah.
I was picturing an actual flesh version of that.
A flesh
Definitely
version. No, it wasn't. It was remarkably unread.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Extremely human looking. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of good humans, a lot of good
You were not labor looking, Charles.
Labor. Charles was amazing. It was so fun to connect with you. That was one of the things I thought we did really well this year is meaningful connections with folks. I had managed to both at sort of meals and at booth had because the crowd wasn't as big as some years past, there was time to have a little more meaningful interactions with a lot of people. And it just filled back up the reservoir, right? Seeing, plus all these people that I'd never seen before, just watching people see Dwarven Forge and kind of it's so fun.
Yeah, it was really fun getting. Well, I felt like more than any of our other con appearances in the past, we had a strategy for a lot of different kinds of people.
Yep.
In terms of because we would always do really cool huge builds, and so we had that. We had the Wild Factory still. We had that massive castle on the corner, but it was also okay, doing that Star Wars build for the second war game build, because even if people don't play war games, even if they don't use terrain, they'll recognize those stormtroopers.
It blew their minds. It was such a good hook. Yeah.
Hey,
having a store section.
Giant. Glad you got to get your free. Glad you got to get your freebie. There we go.
We handed out a lot of free pieces. It was really.
A lot of people were really come away with it. Any photos of the Star Wars build? Do you have any Star Wars build you can throw up while I'm talking?
I don't know.
I know you have those videos. How long was the shift in the DF booth?
All day.
We were very short-handed.
There were only 6 of us.
Yeah.
And
we were running a pretty large booth. We needed somebody on each side of the booth at each time, basically.
Yeah, it was a lot.
What else was going on?
But also, it's it didn't feel like it. As cliche as it sounds, it didn't feel like work. I mean, obviously, it was absolutely exhausting, right? And it was long and brutal, but it's just exhilarating, getting to just see new people and meet with everybody and all that. It it was really it's really fun, even though it was long days. So like it was, you're on your feet nonstop and in there, but it's like it was just the best.
It
Oh, I
reminded
just
me
knocked you
of
out of the thing.
working on plays and stuff in high school or working on films, where it was like, yeah, like a lot of it was like grueling. The setup days, like 2 12-hour days back in unair conditioned like
Oh,
warehouse, basically with when it was like 90 something degrees the entire time. Like that was awful. Breakdown was like exhausting. Um, and it took a lot of energy to be talking to people all day, but the act of having all those connections with people and everybody was, I don't think we really had any issues with people being, um, hey,
doing
there's
this
Mace.
live.
I
Yeah.
don't think we had any issues with people being, is that close enough for you?
Yeah. They come in. I
I
did
don't think
not
we
do
had any
this.
issues with people like really being super mean or anything.
No. People were
Which
amazing.
was nice. People were mostly just very excited to see that stuff and having all those constant contacts, whether it's like people with kids, like going to the sandbox area, or talking to somebody who had seen us on Critical Role and had like a perception of what the of what our stuff was like, and getting to like inform them that actually it was actually the stuff was cooler than they thought just off of seeing it off of Critical Role. Like the magnet discoveries was like big for a lot of people.
So good.
Demoing, taking like a dungeon wall and like trying to crush it in my hand and like showing it like bend like 60 degrees and then just go back like nothing happened. A lot of those practical demos were a lot of fun just because people are not used to seeing it because nobody else does what we do. So nobody
It's
expects
true.
our pieces to be able to
Wait.
do things. Another huge thing that was actually like really that I wasn't expecting to be such a massive like selling point or massive demo was letting them know that the every LED can go into any LED socket, and then just when you take the LED out, they all thought they were permanently attached. But when you take an LED out of the wall and then put it somewhere else, yeah,
Yeah, that's a delightful one. All right, so those are a couple of pictures of Star Wars War Game
yeah.
Kill.
So I don't know, that was really big, and then just being with the team, like at the Airbnb at night and talking about all that stuff, like was.
I mean,
Huge.
from
Like,
from like 5:36 in the morning until God knows what hour at night. It was a lot of
well, it's kind of the same.
constant.
Well, I mean, you and I were usually up first.
Yeah, it was like it felt like it was sort of a reality show or something.
It's also like I don't know. It had kind of like the feeling that you get from the Kickstarter, where it feels like you're doing
Yes.
something bigger than yourself and
Yeah.
pulling off something like massive.
Yeah,
But it was
and then
very
you're
tiring.
delirious from lack of sleep, and yeah, it was
Yeah.
great. So I have 3 questions for everybody who's sat through us talking for an hour. Um, First question is, what was everybody's favorite part of the booth if you were there? What the heck is?
I feel like this is the worst demographic to ask about the
They'll
store
say
section,
all of it.
which is unfortunate. I'd really like to know how effective that section of the booth was, but everybody here, can be the target audience.
And then, so does anybody have a favorite part? Something they really enjoyed? Oh, I keep knocking you out of the thing by covering
Azure
up.
Cobalt says favorite part of the booth was saying hi to the Dwarven Port crew, but missed the gaming.
Yeah. Well, that was the third question, is things that you missed. Or the second question.
Favorite part was the Forsaken Temple into the Wildlands concept.
That was a Toby masterpiece
Underdark Cutaway was really cool.
with a UV light.
Mm-hmm. Wizard Tower,
Wizard.
a second on the Jade Temple.
Piece of Mustafar.
Stargazing Kiwi says, speaking of someone new, when I've walked past the Dwarven Fort booths in years past, it was the castles that got me.
It was the what that got him?
The castles.
Yeah. The verticality of castles can't be beat. So what did people miss that we'd done in years past that we didn't do this year? Is it worth reconsidering any of that? Not that we necessarily have the means, but I'm curious. I want the feedback. Yes, we have.
Missing some of the sculptures, but it is what it is. We'll just encounter as a giveaway. Because it's giveaway time.
Oh. Wow, 8 o'clock on the dot.
So, a fan and staff dinner event. Possibly a stand so folks could peel back a building to see it all furnished.
I showed the inside. It was kind of hidden. It was a layer cake, but we could have torn the roof off to show, yeah. That would have been neat.
Whew.
And what would people like to see next year? What should we add that we didn't?
Dwarven Forge by the pound.
Oh, look, I found...
Special deals on pieces.
Well, that was not going to happen. Special deals on pieces. The problem... So here's the problem with Dwarvenite by the pound. Is it's very team staff intensive for us, right? We have to man the... takes a lot to man the... Like, we have to... It's just a lot to babysit.
Oh.
Hey, look. I got the...
A room of builds and a massive gaming event run by fans who bring our builds. I don't know if we would need a unique Gen Con only piece. I don't know if we can justify that.
No.
Not with how expensive it is to make our stuff.
Well, then, what would we do after that? Yeah. We don't want to do limited anything.
I feel like having a place where people could build a bit of their own, little booths with a couple starter sets for people to experiment with.
We had a sandbox.
Section of the booth that was a sandbox. And we had some cavern starter and dungeon starter pieces, and then some scatter pieces and accessories they could decorate with.
Yep.
Anyone ask how long it took to put everything back in its place after the mega builds? Oh god.
Nothing. I mean, it's gonna be days to refill the archives. I don't know. The stuff just arrived today.
I mean, we had 6 hours to break down everything. The floor closed at 4, and we had to be out of there by 10.
But getting all the pieces back into the archives where they belong is gonna be forever.
It's gonna take a very long time to put it back. Yeah.
Oof.
Oh, and they also turned off the air conditioning as soon as the floor closed, so we were doing all the breakdown.
You'd think with the amount of, you're doing a convention.
And it was 97 degrees that day. It was 97 degrees when that was happening.
50,000 people paying admission. You think you could just afford to keep the air conditioning on for setup and breakdown? Just throwing that out there.
Gen-Con is, yeah.
I mean, how much does it cost to run the air conditioning for those extra 6 hours and those extra 2 days and, 12-hour day? Yeah. Anyway. Any other ideas of things we should add for next year?
More hanging posters / display green screens featuring fan builds. That's something we wanted to. We just ended up cutting because we just had so much to do.
A fan build carousel on a screen would be really. I love that. Other than having to gather all the stuff and do it, fundamentally showcasing all the creativity of the community would be amazing.
Next year when we have the second tent, we can hang the screen from the tent so that it doesn't take up room on the floor. And yeah,
it's ambitious. I like it.
We just kind of run it.
Yeah.
Wow, it sounds like a lot of extra work. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm in. Sold. It's a good plan.
Yeah, it was ultimately a not having space in the booth and then not wanting to add more stuff for us to do. Because we had a lot less people this year than we usually had.
Yep.
And yet we were doing a more ambitious setup than we usually do.
Yep. It was good.
Whereas Waldo Style competition was something hit among your builds. We thought that was something the good Nate had the first day. It was it's too late to do it now. But
there's plenty of fun little bits hidden around. Just don't hide any rubber duckies.
Yeah, dude, they were mad about that.
Someone was trying to hide rubber duckies all around the floor, and you could bring them back for a prize. And the security came in. They're like, "Do you have any duckies here? It's guerrilla marketing. We're cracking down." I'm like, huh?
It's just like the day before opening.
Like what? I was like, "Oh, the contest hasn't started. You can't take our rubber ducky." He's like, "No, I'm security. I'm taking these duckies." Oh.
A security guard comes up to a booth and asks, "You got any ducks?"
My kids love that video.
Love that joke specifically.
No,
There's
there's a video,
I don't understand why.
the duck song. There's like a 3 video
Is that why
YouTube,
it blew up?
probably.
One of those kids songs. Okay, I was wondering why. Because that was a joke that I knew from like 20 years ago or whatever. Like it was a joke and it was like, oh, it's a dumb joke, it's a fun joke, whatever. And so it was just like in the back of my head. And then like a couple of years ago, it feels like suddenly everybody is referencing the Got Any Grapes thing. And I'm like, why is this suddenly big?
Yeah, look up the duck song, part 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, so they turned that joke into a Baby Shark thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It predates Baby Shark.
Okay. Got any nails? That's a good joke. Alright, anything else from chat?
Yeah.
I think my other big takeaway, there's a lot of people who want to work with us.
Everybody. We're getting pitched like
Yeah.
every day. Everybody that's ever started a YouTube channel or whatever is like, hey, we stream once a year for 3 people. Do you want to give us a terrain for free? It's not that bad, but
Yeah.
it's like, it's wild.
I think it's just part of that thing of like, you find the right people, you find the creatives who are passionate about this stuff, and they all want to see everybody else succeed as well, you know? Like,
Yeah.
we're not really in competition a lot of the time, as long as we're not actually like stealing each other's like ideas or whatever. Like,
I'm not worried if anybody steals our ideas. It's the execution. Like,
yeah.
execution is everything. Nobody's gonna execute like we do. So
People
they
can
steal away.
People can scan and make knockoffs of our terrain, but it's not going to actually have all the functionality or anything.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nor the artistry, nor what we made of Dwarvenite. It's fine. It was fun. I liked doing interviews with Paul for the Discord. That was a fun impromptu. We can make it a Gen Con tradition. Grill Nate on the street for 30 minutes about about bits. A wide list of topics.
There's a couple other interviews I'm curious about when they're gonna come out. We had that one I did on I think Friday. I have no idea when that's or if it's already up. I don't know.
Gallant Goblin did a little filmed the Cities preview.
Oh, nice.
Cities Untold preview. That'll be
I
up at
missed
some
meeting
point.
him. He came by the booth while I was gone.
Oh, just the sweetest.
Yeah. I
Teo
believe
and
it.
Grady, just great folks.
Czech Gaming, Ray, their now streamer. She was streaming like nonstop every day at the convention, just like to show
this the one
people
with
who were
the-
back home like what's going on. Yeah,
Wow.
she had the chat on a phone on her wrist and was like going around and all that. She came over to the booth and was like really nice and like let us do like a full walkthrough of our pieces and everything for
So
the
cool.
stream and yeah.
Well, that was
All right, giveaway. We should do giveaway.
That's why you kind of never wanted to leave the booth, is because you don't know what you're gonna who's gonna come by, who's gonna show up.
Yeah.
Abria pops by, and
I did get to meet Abria. That was nice.
Jason Charles
got
Miller
to-
pops by, B
I
Dave
got to
pops
figure-
by, the Dungeon
like-
Dudes pop by. Like every turn there's something like just like people coming from all sides.
All right, giveaway word.
All right,
People were saying Mohawk earlier.
all right, sure,
Mohawk.
ship it.
All right, giveaway word is Mohawk. If you want a chance to win a $50 Dwarven Forge gift card for our web store, type Mohawk in the chat. Everybody is eligible.
Woo! Even
Dwarven Forge
employees?
Well, no.
I don't.
But that was the thing. Like I feel this way about every time I do anything that has like a limited time. It's just my personality, I guess. But like I was so anxious about not having enough time to do everything,
Yeah.
and I still wished I had gotten to spend more time with a lot of people there.
Everything, everybody, like just walking the floor and checking out all the things. Like there's just not enough
Yeah.
time. Well, I mean, when you're when you're working like 12 hours out of the day or 14 hours out of the day, it doesn't leave a ton of time left there.
Yeah, there are friends that I wanted to touch base with who never came by the booth or who came by when I wasn't there or something,
No.
and just wasn't a lot of time to link it, especially because I didn't have service on the floor, which was unfortunate. So I wasn't able to like message people and like coordinate anything when I was actually in the convention center.
No.
But
I didn't see Mike Martin. I don't know.
that's the thing. So I wanted more time, but
Well,
I don't know. But never would have stopped.
Next year.
Yeah.
There's always next year. Should we talk about Wildlands? Is there any other
There's a couple of questions.
What do we got?
Do Dwarven Forge employees get a discount on Dwarven Forge? Yes. I've never done it because usually I'm just like, if I really want to use something, I'll just borrow it from the office.
We have a pretty deep archive. Also, everybody gets Kickstarter credit in each Kickstarter.
I do have a lot of stuff. That's the thing. Just for my Kickstarter credit, I'm already like, where do I store all this? I can't imagine buying extra.
Yeah.
New York apartments.
We try and give the artists that or outside artists that work, give them some Kickstarter credit too, so they can get the stuff that they worked on. Try and get it out, get all the stuff out there, get the pieces in people's hands.
If DF employees can't figure out stores, they're supposed to be doomed.
Yeah.
Hey, it's just we live in New York City. It's like the main thing. Michelle and Chuck are fine because they've got like the massive archive below their house.
She's a whole basement between the Legos and the DF. It's like
yeah. The people who work remotely have better luck with it. But those of us who are in Brooklyn, oh my god.
Eli had to build an extension on his house, addition, I guess.
Do DF have a distribution center based in Europe? We do not.
No.
It'd be nice to get big enough to be able to set one up someday.
Well,
it's kind of a weird chicken egg situation where we need a bigger we need a bigger European base to justify it, but it'd probably be easier to get that base if we were there.
Well, the problem is we can't even keep our U.S. warehouse stocked, much less keeping a second warehouse stocked, right? Like, imagine trying to also, we have to have another 30, like, even if it was just modest, like 30 sets, 15 sets painted and unpainted, that would be a whole nother, another cycle of restocks and stuff that we got to track and bankroll, and I don't know. It would be fantastic. We love it. Let's get to the point where we can have enough constant stock in the U.S. warehouse, and then we can work on that.
The new shipping to Germany is great. You did a great job there. Thank you. I don't know how Jay worked out that deal, but like
triple cost. We ship it 3 times. Oh, the new one, the new from the where
the DHL setup.
It's
Also, apparently, we have some of the best shipping to Australia that our Australian backers have ever seen.
Wow.
I don't understand any of that stuff. I'm not educated, but I guess Jay worked out some deals. I don't know.
Jay is a wizard on that stuff. He's really constantly poking at it and saying, like, is there a better way to do this? Is there a better deal? Is there another way? Like, just constantly trying to improve it best we can. Find something that's cost efficient and reliable and repeatable and whatnot. Let's roll this giveaway. Type Mohawk, last chance.
While we roll that, the word is Mohawk, and then we're like 15 seconds.
Mohawk.
I was wondering what the subworld behind are. They're not the Kickstarter, they're from Hathorn Hollow, right? Or at least they're from the past Kickstarters, not the new one.
What is?
The tabletop world building behind you.
Yeah, that was from previous ones. I've been eyeing their lines, trying to see what we can the lines. Try to see what we can learn from this for cities. And kind of stare at these every day of like, well, what are they doing well in here that we can learn from? Did nobody spot the Rat Prince? He's like the Rat Prince from the Dungeon Dudes. Is that there? Yeah, those fun. Hey, Rat Prince.
Ex-privateer.
Privateer.
Ex-privateer.
Congrats!
I think it's the first time winning.
Woohoo! Love first time winners.
Alright, I'm sent you a private message on here, privateer. When you get a chance, just let me know. We just need the email that your store account is attached to, and we will get the gift card attached to your account.
Woo! So let's talk about the Wildlands store launch. So we had our biggest launch to date today. Very successful day. Thank you.
First off,
Woo!
holy crap, guys.
It was wild. So I'm kind of curious. But first, I'll start with the question: is like, how was the experience for anybody that participated? And way that 12:01 was frantically hitting buy or whatever. How was the experience?
I love that every launch is the biggest launch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that is true. Like our store has been getting consistently more effective over time. Oh wow. But this one, it wasn't even. It's
good.
Truly absurd how good today was for it.
Well, I don't think anybody else is making modular wilderness terrain quite like this. I think we have something pretty special with Wildlands. But how was the experience? Did people enjoy it? Are they angry? Are they
getting a combination of people saying, and I've seen this on the forums and Discord as well. For the most part, people are saying the wishlist made things way easier, and so a couple people are saying that the wishlist was confusing. So I think it seems like there's a couple people who have struggled with the wishlist. So I got to figure out.
We should figure out how to make it whatever they're struggling with. Let's make sure we can button that up so it can be a better tool.
Yeah.
And are there other tools that we can add that would help?
Yeah, so I think you need to figure out whether it's a communication thing or what. Let's see.
Well, here's the question: was it better than previous store launches?
A lot of people were saying that this was the smoothest they've seen it go. The rough thing was that when we set the products live, Shopify doesn't immediately change all at the same time. It usually
it's like a
takes
rolling.
It's not long. It's less than a minute usually. It's 20 to 30 seconds tops, especially when you're setting this many things live.
But that's an eternity if you're just trying to swoop in and get something there's only 10 of or whatever.
I think if people weren't as worried that what they were looking for would have gone in seconds, it wouldn't have been as big of a deal.
Yep.
But I also understand the worry being there. A lot of people were saying they were stuff lasted longer than they expected.
Woohoo! Which is to say, not very long.
I think it depends on the set.
Yeah.
'Cause I've heard that people too. I've heard people saying everything was sold out immediately, and then people saying wow, I can't believe there's still stuff here. So I think a lot of it's just a perspective thing.
Yeah. We still have Titan's Tooth and Floor Fogger, but Waterfalls are long gone, and we had a lot
shut down the store for purchases while rolling it out. Maybe we take it down 5 minutes before the launch.
Maybe there's a quick hiccup.
Have it roll things out, and when we set it live, is that a thing we can do in that software?
Shut the store down until everything's in, and then bring it live.
Yeah, for 5 minutes, and then set it back live. Would that create other issues?
don't know. But that's an interesting idea. So then it's
Yeah.
like turning the light switch and boom, everything goes. Then at exactly 12 o'clock, you can turn it. It goes dark at 11:55, and then at 12 o'clock it comes on and everything's live.
I think one of the biggest things too, we get a lot of requests and people asking us to do certain things with programming it. And I think one of the big things is we're not programmers. We didn't design this stuff. This is all using existing tools on Shopify, and we don't have control over the way a lot of it works.
We are so not programmers. Not even close. Yeah.
Why no chunky concave and convex apartments? We didn't have surplus. I'm wondering if those are going to be in that
the second wave.
In that second wave of sets that were held back at the factory.
So we have a small. We'll have a small second restock of the overflow things that didn't fit into a full carton. We didn't have a full carton of sets, so it might be 5 or 10 of a set. Will be coming soonish. So there'll be a second crack at some of these things, and or a few sets that maybe weren't there previously. Be exciting. Was there anything? What were people hoping to get that they didn't get? Is there one or two sets that everybody was dying for that they're just I couldn't get? Or is it sort of all over the place? People have disparate desires.
Tree toppers, huge hummock, open ground, concave escarpments, more drift stones. We did sell all of our drift stones.
Oh, there's
dead trees, griddles, gridless, terrain trays and battle boards. Gridless battle boards, gridless river trays, Crags Bridge. Oh, we sold all the Crags Bridge?
Oh, man.
Pine trees, chunky escarpments, battle boards, nest without the wyvern.
That doesn't exist.
That doesn't currently exist. Maybe in the future we can do something like that, but battle boards and waterfalls. Dude, waterfalls sold like crazy.
And a lot of waterfalls. 150 waterfalls or something. That's a lot.
They were a bigger seller. We sold more of those than anything else, and we sold all of them.
It sounds like a lot of calls for battle boards, terrain trays, texture mats. It's interesting.
Yes. Unpainted spore claw on a small set. How do we?
I don't
There's
know.
a spore claw deluxe pack. How else can you get the spore claw right now?
It's in the mega pack, but that's not great.
Right. Is it in a plant pack?
I don't know. I did those compositions
There's
2.5
unpainted
years
waterfalls
ago.
left still.
Yeah. And you can watch.
I think people are afraid of painting them.
Fair. You can watch Hamster's paint tutorial and dive in.
Hi, Crystal. Bye.
But did she sort out? It's Trevor, right?
She doesn't know his name.
Yeah. Oh,
she replied back earlier. She said, "Oh, it's okay. Nobody knows his name. They all just call him Bootbeard."
Okay, fair.
Yeah, she actually didn't correct you.
I'll have to go look it up in the book.
Yeah, she said she'll never tell.
Yeah. Oh.
Fogger Topper Pack would be cool. Fogger Topper Packs, that would have
We only have
Claw, Nexus. It's too expensive, I think.
Volcano, and they're all over the place, and yeah. If we had smaller ones, it would be.
Volcano Fogger as a bundle isn't bad.
It makes a lot of sense. I'll tell you what, at the booth, the crowd stopper, the fog, we had the Spore Claw and the Volcano going the table and just in interval mode, and every time those things, little bursts of fog came out, it would catch somebody's attention. They would look, and that was of all the stuff, that was the thing that really caught people. Fog.
Will you be doubling into bigger foggers, aka the Fog Monster?
No.
That might be out of our scope.
No current plans at this juncture.
I think the reason the Fogger and Light Puck worked for us is because they were terrain size. Making something that is making a piece of tech that is so big it dwarfs the terrain. I think it's just too far out of our wheelhouse.
And honestly, I don't want to go after Real Game Effects' business.
Oh well, apparently they're done.
They folded?
Yeah.
Oh man, really?
Yeah, apparently there's no more Fog Monster. Like that's.
Is this confirmed? How do we? Do we just randomly hear this off the internet? What's?
There were people talking about it. I thought I talked to you about it. I think the company might still be around, but they said they were done with the Fog Monsters or something.
Huh.
Can anybody confirm that? Am I just wrong? Real Game Effects is gone, so there's 6 clubs. Yeah. They're just making STL stuff now.
It's a bummer.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't want to go after their business, but if they're not doing fog,
Yeah,
I don't want
let's
to.
give
I
it
don't
up
want to
on
have
that.
to try and make that thing. Oh, it's a cantankerous beast.
Yeah.
But
The thing that sucks is if we want more now, it's gonna be hard.
so we're gonna have to make our own.
We have no choice. Which you know what is fine because the floor fogger isn't going to be powerful enough for the smokestacks on the modular ships anyways. So we'll need something with more oomph.
Something that could launch a rocket into space, a ham jammer.
Yeah, we
Out
need
of
that
it.
modular rocket system.
Huh. The ultimate fogger. Huh.
Are you trying to picture a piece of tech we can make, or are you trying to think of a topper for the fogger?
No,
that we already have?
I'm thinking of what I would do if we were going to manufacture a.
All right, we need to change the topic.
Yeah, this is a dangerous topic. There's.
Add it to the sci-fi Kickstarter. That's what we do. We spend more dev time developing a fogger than we do on the entire sci-fi terrain set.
Well, because then once we have fog, we need lasers too. Maybe
That'd be fun. Or make a little pocket
solenoids.
laser.
All right. Well, I don't want to think about fogger right now, but because this is it's not happening in cities, but that's a really neat.
But yeah, for people who were wondering, I saw somebody earlier say you need a real restock. Yeah, we know. Like that's one of our top priorities is getting a full restock.
Well,
in.
so that's the question. So we can't restock 230 sets or whatever it is in their entirety. What are people dying for? What would your top 3 sets be for us to restock? Existing, not reconfigured, just existing sets that already exist. What do the people want? Give us your top 3.
To clarify, we're talking about Wildlands because the first 3 things were Imperial Streets, Crystal Caverns, and Underdoom Banks.
Okay.
We're talking about Wildlands here.
Thank you. Of the Wildlands sets includes the ruins, swamp, mountain, forest, ruins. What and
Escarpments, driftstones, waterfalls, chunky escarpments, driftstones, escarpments, forest floors, mega escarpments, trees, driftstones, battleboards, escarpments, tree toppers, ruins, LED rune buttresses, escarpments, driftstones, plant packs. A lot of escarpments.
Escarpments are the, because you know what, they put the Z-axis in 3D, as they say. They're really, they go, nothing looks.
That old saying.
Yeah. If I had a dime for every.
That's actually our slogan.
Yeah. We put the
Z-axis in 3D.
What huh. So then the other.
I feel like all the bread and butter stuff we can definitely manage. Escarpments, banks, the ruins, like all the stuff that's like basic terrain stuff. None of that seems difficult, right?
Yeah, it's just the volume of it's a lot of stuff by the time you get all said and done. Because then once you get in escarpments, you're like, well, you need trifectas, and then how many of the different sets? Like it's a lot of just the escarpments alone is a lot of sets. The other then question is, what are the reconfigured sets we should consider, and what are like the core? Like, is there a starter? Do we even need to have like core? Like, how do people get started sorts of sets? I feel like it's all got to be scattered because, I don't know, covering any amount of sculpted ground with Wildlands is really expensive quickly. But what do we like? Are there sets that people are dying for us to reconfigure?
1x3s.
Yeah, I tell you what, when we built this like however many feet uh, of nonsense for the booth, 1x3s were one of the first chunk of escarpments to go, and we must have had 60 1x3s or something, 80 1x3s, like just a massive bin of 1x3s. Those things, those are hot tickets. I know people are like, I don't get them. I know they're stupid, whatever. They are like, they are gold. Right, there was like an anti 1x3 committee, right? There were like people that were really against 1x3s, as I recall. Am I making that up?
You're remembering it the opposite.
Everybody wanted more of them.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a pretty contentious thing.
That they couldn't get enough of them. Yeah, you need a lot of them.
That they were difficult to get, yeah. Because
Yeah.
I think you can only get them in the pack with the end caps, I believe.
No, they had to be another.
They were in like 2 packs. They were both like $100 packs that gave you like 1 or 2 of them. And they wanted a pack of just the 1x3s. And then I think you could
Fair.
get them in the deluxe waterfalls, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe that was the contentious part. I remember there was some controversy around the 1x3s.
They have
Yeah.
2 packs. Advanced Builder and the 1 waterfall.
Oof. And the Mega, right? They were in the Mega for sure.
You have the Mega.
Yeah.
But like, you can't tell people to buy a Mega escarpment pack to get 2 1x3s.
Yeah.
Now, I remember we had a lot of conversations where I brought it up. I was like, a lot of people on Discord want these things. And I think they're saying, like, we have too many packs. Like, we can't.
We had too many packs.
Because we had made so
Yeah.
many additional packs.
Well, they were right. They need 1x3s. A lot of them.
If only somebody had told us.
If only they'd warned us. That iceberg was right there. We could have seen it.
How are we supposed to see the iceberg? Like, 80% of it's underwater.
Yeah. It was obscured by all these 1x3s in the way. What else? So 1x3s is a really, that's a good one to reconfig.
Yeah, we need to make some sort of we need to reconfigure those packs. Well, it's tough because like what people are gonna want is a pack of just 1x3s. I don't know how feasible that is.
It's good high multiples.
It is high multiples.
Is there something
That's
else?
like the
Something else useful we could put in there? Didn't they come with the stairs? The winding stairs pack? No.
No.
We should have jammed them in there. So useful.
The winding stairs pack is super popular though. We should just keep that the way it is.
Yeah, that pack is fantastic.
Yeah. 1x3 with some straights. Maybe we can do. What's in the advanced builder? Because that's what they're currently in. Let me look it up real quick.
I like the short straights better than the long straights. I mean, I use
I hear
both
ya.
a lot, but
Many people are saying this. Okay, it's the 2 end caps and 2 1x3s, and then that little rock ledge you can peg onto the pair of pegals.
right. It's a good little pack, but you need more.
It's a good pack. We only had 19 of them. Wow.
They
all sold.
I use those end caps all the time too. Those things.
It's a
are my favorite.
$59 pack. So it's not the most expensive pack in the world. It's a bit.
It's not cheap either.
If all you want is those 2 1x3s, the end caps are most of the price. Maybe we.
What else do people?
Maybe we change that pack to be 2 of each of the end caps, and then we make the 1x3s like a 4-pack. Increase the multiples.
Yeah. What else?
Let's see.
What else do people want?
1x3 was in the stairs, but it got pulled with the second sculpt. Right, that's what kicked it off. It used to be 1x3 in the stairs. We added the second stair, and you were like, if we keep the 1x3s, it makes it too expensive.
Classic Stefan ruining our great plans.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And taking that out is what kicked off the people getting upset about it.
Yeah.
Because we were trying to keep that pack under 100, I think.
Yeah.
So if the waterfall pack should have more bank pieces to make them more whole.
You know, depending on how you're building. But yeah.
I think the biggest thing with these packs is we're trying to land on each pack that we make doing a specific job. And getting into that job. But I think with waterfalls, having the banks be a thing that you get separately so that you can choose what you're putting the waterfall into makes sense.
Well, it depends if you're spilling down into a river situation or if you're just going into a big open lake, or if it's, you know, is it inline or is it, I don't know, it's a tough one.
We'll have more access to small scatter like the Wolfsbane or the Nettlegorse.
Nettlegorse was there was a big fan club for the Nettlegorse. Don't
It's
we
just
have,
tricky 'cause also like the Nettlegorse is an expensive piece.
don't we have a lot of small scatter packs though, like little like the Fellborn plants?
We
and
have Tangled Turf, which is one of the things we added to get Nettlegorse. It's
Yeah.
the Nettlegorse and Razor Vine.
Yep. With
We
Fellborn
have
plants.
Fellborn plants. I think there's a Nettlegorse and Fellborn trees as well. There's a small pack that has a bunch of Nettlegorse. Tangled Turf. Yeah, okay. I think this Kickstarter packs are much better than previous. There are one or two outliers, but I can get most of what I wanted without too much added.
That was the goal.
Maybe the only thing, maybe we do just need some sort of more accessible 1x3 pack, and maybe that's actually all the changes we need to make to the escarpments.
We throw in a Nettlegorse in there and call it a day.
Yeah. Doubles the price of the pack to get one Nettlegorse. That thing is so expensive.
It's
Not as bad as the cattails were, but like, it's expensive.
Well, it's more expensive than the cattails, but it's bigger. But yeah.
Fair, yeah.
It's a good little. The Nettlegorse is awesome.
What if we add one Nettlegorse to every pack?
Just spread them around, little
Yeah.
Johnny Nettlegorsel seed.
Yeah.
Uh,
Nettlegorse becomes the backbone of this company.
yeah. Any other packs people were dying that you wished we'd had from that we don't?
It's sounding like for the most part. Wait, what is this? A pack of 10? Pack of 10 what? I wish the chat would stop dropping down to the bottom every time somebody says something.
Stop chatting, chat.
Stop talking so I can read what you're saying.
That works. That works every time.
Oh my god. People saying I think the Kickstarter is a lot better than the previous. Need greatest hits packs, the things many people didn't involve, like the 1x3s or stilts. Are the stilt packs good? We have that 8-pack 50mm. That should be fine, right?
Yeah. And
so
we have
stilt pack, we should need to restock that.
Did we sell out of the stilts?
I think we didn't have many, which is kind of nutty, honestly.
You can never, if I've learned anything, I've learned a few things in my day. You can never have enough stilts. But doing the Gen Con build, we cleared the whole archive out of stilts and had to get more. Maybe that's why there were no stilts to sell, as we ordered them all.
Yeah, we had less than 100 and we sold all of them.
Oh,
very quickly.
Stilts are a must. You know what we need? We need the ultra stilt pack that has all 3 sizes of stilts in like high quantities.
Yeah, we do have old stilt packs in stock, but the 50mm we sold out immediately.
Those 50mm stilts are great.
Really like to see Enchanted Pool and Forgotten Forest return. Missed out on those today. Enchanted Pool seemed really popular. Forgotten Forest was one of the last packs we made. It was like, oh, there's these sculpts that are hard to get a hold of.
Yep.
And it was called Forgotten Forest. So it's like, oh, these are sculpts
the ones we forgot. See what we did there?
But ended up being in there. Let's see. Floating Log, Hollow Hedge, Nettlegorse, Wolfsbane Patch, Magnetic Boulder.
That's a good
2 of the
pack.
hedges, 2 of Wolfsbane.
It's a good pack.
It's a good basic scatter pack.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's good dressing.
Yeah.
$52. That's not bad.
People wanted more of that log.
It's a good log.
It is. Old floaty log.
Maybe we don't have to reconfigure all that much.
We've got small scatter in a couple of different packs. If we figure out the 1x3s, we get stilts, we get escarpments, we get waterfalls, we get.
Let's see. And then Enchanted Pool was the way to get it. It was a Fey Wellspring, Shimmerfrond, Wolfsbane, Thistlets, Seal of Binding, Magnetic Boulder.
Fun.
It just creates a nice little diorama.
Yeah. Once again, good scatter, good collection of good looking stuff.
One of them. Who got the one Enchanted Pool?
Who are you?
Who was it?
Where'd that Enchanted Pool go? That's a pretty.
Let's get more plants and stuff. We have a bunch of overstuff from the factory that should be here in a couple months. We'll put in inventories for that as soon as we can, so that you guys will know what's. It'll be similar to this, and then it'll be a lot of really random amounts of inventory on random packs.
I think it's coming sooner than several months.
You think so?
I think so. I think it already shipped. I could be wrong. I don't know. Shipping is an adventure. You know, I just realized, I don't know why I'd never done this before. The Feywild Spring. If you take if you have the ice texture patch, put that thing under the Feywild Spring, it gives you beautiful blue water. Woo!
Oh. Yeah, if you're not using the light puck, that's a really nice use.
Yeah. Wonder if we put something else in there. Let's see what else we can put under that thing. While I'm playing with that. Okay, cool.
So yeah, I'll try to get an inventory list of the stuff that's coming in that container soon, and then we're gonna get the full restock order in as quickly as possible, because we want to get the factory making more of this stuff because you guys clearly want it. Should we have people guess what our best sellers were, or should we just talk about what the best sellers were?
Oh yeah, we want to say with the top 5. Let's see what this is. Necrotic Sludge.
Let me pull it up real quick.
Ooh, that's nice. Put the cave water texture patch under here, and it gives a very kind of realistic-y pond water look. That's nice.
That Fey Wellspring is beautiful.
Here's some acid. That's even. Ooh, it's even greener and cuter. Huh.
Yeah, Mascon brings up exactly what I was talking about before. It's tough to call what the best sellers are because some of them had such low inventory.
Fair.
There's some where it's like, oh, this would have been a bestseller if it had more.
If we could have sold it, yeah.
Yeah, there were things that were leading the pack, and then we ran out of them, and then they got passed by stuff that had more inventory.
Yep. Like the Aaron Thor Cliff expansion, right?
Don't let Crags Bridge become the next Natural Bridge. We brought Natural Bridge back.
In 3 paint colors, 4 paint colors. How many we have it? Is it in everything?
I think it was gone for a while.
It was gone for years.
We haven't done it in Underdoom.
Ooh.
We had to cut the Underdoom Bridge.
And the Underdoom banks.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, we have to have them do the. We have to get the paint master for the one bank to them.
Bank.
Can you stick a small stilt under that insert to achieve the right height?
Under which, this thing?
I'm not sure.
This is
it's
flush. I mean, it's... Oh, I see. Under, if we put it on the hole I'm assuming
okay. Well, because the whole null is 2 floor heights, basically.
Yeah.
So 2 12mm stilts. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah. Alright.
Let's see. Underdoom needs more than just the one, it needs the large bank configurations as well.
Who does?
Underdoom.
Yeah, definitely needs
We'll
the
get
large
there.
banks.
We want to expand. We had some ideas.
2 stilts. Yeah. Looks neat. You could even go. It's like a little low. You could go up like just a spickle higher. Maybe I'll stack a bunch of these up.
So
Four of these up. Yeah. Looks good.
our best seller for the day, which probably isn't very surprising, is the deluxe waterfalls pack.
Woo!
We sold all of it.
Well, and we had
And we had
150 of them, right? Yeah.
156.
Yeah,
Sold all.
that'll make it easy.
Second is something that actually hasn't sold out yet. Titan's Tooth. We still have a good amount of those left, but it did really well. After that, like the next one actually really surprising to me, and I guess this is probably where we get into. This is what had a lot of stock. Like Fairy Blade was third best seller.
It's cool. I mean, it's cool
And then
plants,
the Barge.
right? All freestanding, cool, unique plants. Like that quildren tree gets people's attention.
Yeah. It's a beautiful tree. You can't get anything like that anywhere else.
No. Can't
And
name
then-
anything like that anywhere else.
Yeah. After Fairy Blade, then it's the Bayou Barge.
Oh, that's no surprise. That thing's awesome.
We still have some of those as well.
Yeah.
And then the Mountain Lake gridded texture mat.
Mountain Lake gridded texture. Huh, gridded.
Yeah. And then right after that, Glamour Leaf pack.
Glamour leaf.
People like those Glamour Leaf.
It's
And
got
it basically, it feels like we sold out of basically all the mountain sets too. Like all the escarpments, the Airport Lift expansion did really well. The winding stairs, like the nice thing is, it feels like basically all of our bread and butter either sold out or really sold like an absolute ton of it, which I guess makes sense. But it just kind of doubles down on the basic pieces that we made for Wildlands are super effective, and people keep getting more. I think because like especially we always talk about our pieces scaling well, in terms of like getting a core set for Dungeons or Caverns is still always useful, but like I feel like it's doubly so with Wildlands.
Yeah.
You can always get the mountain taller. You can always make the forest wider.
You could always make the mountain taller.
Yeah. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. About a second barge too. Now you can make a double long barge.
You can make a really long barge. And then you can
How
have
many orders did you have today?
you can
This might be the
duel
most orders we've had in a day.
dueling barges.
That'd be really fun, actually. Do a boat battle. Wow. A lot of orders. The warehouse is going to take a while shipping your stuff out. Is
It's gonna take at least a week.
all I'm going to say. Yeah, they're going to be slammed. I don't know if this is the most orders we've had in a day. It's by far the most money we've made in a day through the sale or through the store. But
It's great.
it might not be like with a higher number of orders than some of the stuff in the past. Might have just been like higher order amounts. No, Finley, it was a little less than that. Let's see. Dun, dun. I'm super curious to how many of the orders were people who didn't have any Wildlands and how many of them were Kickstarter backers.
That's right. People just topping off their Wildlands order or brand new people.
Because we put in like an amount per customer limit on some of the stuff that we felt was going to be uh, more stuff that didn't feel like it was needed in high multiples to like give more people a chance to kind of spread it around.
Well, we know like Wilderness Encounter was a first time
Yeah.
order. Wildlands. I wonder how many more.
We had a couple. Well, I think so. A lot of this kind of feels like the culmination of a lot of stuff we've been doing for the last few years, basically. It's genuinely starting with 2020 is really when a lot of what we were doing as a company, like we started changing and like kind of evolving a lot of stuff.
Yes.
It's when we started thinking about and doing these core sets. It's when we started thinking more into like, okay, well, what if we actually did focus on the web store as a big part of the business instead of just doing Kickstarters? We started Twitch, we started Discord.
Turns out people got excited when you could actually buy stuff.
Yeah. And so that's the thing we've been saying, like leading up to this is, usually these overstocks were largely just for people who had backed the Kickstarter and they were just like adding more or getting the stuff that they didn't get the first time. But we've grown so much since the Wildlands Kickstarter. Like, because it feels like Wildlands is when the Discord and the Twitch community really started growing.
Yes.
We had all these eyes on us now, and we drove people to those platforms. We were streaming every day, and all that. And then a lot of that community kind of stayed here. And then we kind of rode that momentum, and it feels like we just kept. We feels like we pick up like at least a couple new people every week.
Well, what was really neat at Gen Con was being able to point people to the Discord and say, hey, if you want to get started, hop on the Discord because you will get really good guidance there. Like, people will steer you straight and it'll be really helpful.
That's what I keep trying to tell people. Yeah, it's like, if you want to like really get in this and like take time like looking through this and figuring out what you want, like the Discord is, if you ask people there, you'll get an answer pretty quickly, no matter what time zone it is.
Like, yeah, you'll get interesting answers.
Break down everything for you.
Oh. That's cool.
Discord is a huge money maker for you guys to make it buy a lot. Well, we had that whole thing where I put the Dungeon Bridge in a bundle because I was like, oh, we have like 100 of these and they aren't really moving. And I planned it out, and like 2 months later, we dropped the bundle, and the Dungeon Bridge was all gone because Merc had been telling every new person to buy Dungeon Bridge 2.
So good. I love these tales. Is there anything?
We had a good amount of new people getting their first today, and then also people topping off. But I think a significant portion of our significant portion of the people watching now are people who found us after Wildlands. And I guess we've had 2 years to build up like that audience.
Yeah.
Feed the owner. I don't know what's coming in the next thing yet. We'll have an inventory list as soon as I can get my hands on one.
We will have that list. We'll share it with you as soon as we have it. We'll also give you the price list increase as soon as we have it. We have another restock that's supposed to land, theoretically, that container lands next week. And then we'll probably have the week after something, but who knows. Yeah, we got a bunch of stuff coming down the pike. So you know what? Sign up for the mailing list. Watch this show. Follow us on social. We'll get you the word. The mailing list is the easiest way to get everything.
Yeah. Are the forums really active? It seems like Discord is where it's at. The forums are definitely smaller. I think the reality is, the world is just kind of moving away from forums.
Discord.
There's some people who are very active there, but there's just a lot of it's a much slower method of communication. Uh,
There is a fantastic archive, like
yes.
the amount of stuff you search through the forums. There are, there are photos that go back more than 10 years. There's like, there's a wealth of info there. Um, but it seems to be, it's not growing. Like Discord is growing massively. Our Discord is growing much faster than the forums.
Yeah.
It seems more active and maybe a more pleasant place to be.
Just, so there's lower barriers to participating in a Discord compared to a forum in terms of like the time it asks of you and everything as well. Unless you're trying to like read everything, I guess. Imagine
Like
doing
you. only
that.
a, only a madman.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's I think just the reality. Like we push both, but people just respond a lot more to the Discord, and I think just it being a more casual environment makes it. That's just that's where people gravitate to.
Yep. All right, we should probably wrap it up. All right, we covered all
You know
whatnot. It's almost 9 o'clock.
uh, Mick, the pink eye for autumn should be by the end of the month.
Yeah.
It'll be the fourth one uploaded because it's the longest and is still being worked on. The other three are ready. I've actually uploaded them and I just scheduled them. So probably 2-3 weeks.
It's worth waiting for.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other thoughts, questions, parting?
Oh, the 900-pound panther showed up in the Discord today.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Was he
I
drunk?
was not expecting to ever see him there. But he showed up. There was a sighting.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
He used to be very active in the Kickstarter comments, like KS3, KS4. It was so
I
lively.
do like that you've gotten distracted rebuilding.
Yeah, they're playing with lights and like just try to
Did we do all the stuff we were planning to do? I feel like we kind of ended up drifting.
Yeah, I think so. What new Wild Talks? Yeah,
Oh.
I hit all my
Well,
notes.
Yeah, so thanks for joining us, guys. We're just going to be quarantining a little bit. We'll probably, assuming that none of us get sick, we'll probably be back in the office next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have the last Wednesday of the month, we will do a Cities Deep Dive to show you the latest and greatest on Cities Untold. And what's going on with Hobby Hang tomorrow night?
I don't know. Because we've been painting wheelchair minis. I did the Druid the week before Gen Con. I got a couple minis at Gen Con, so I might do some of those. I got another Free Blades army, so I might
Nice.
start assembling and painting that. I also might just take it off depending on how I'm feeling. We'll see. But hamster will definitely be there.
Well, one way or another, Hamster will be painting something tomorrow, and the rest will be a surprise.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week. Who knows what the heck we're covering? Next week. And
Yeah,
then
we gotta figure it out.
is that the week after that we have? No, 2 weeks I guess then till the Cities Deep Dive. I'm excited to see what new stuff we'll have ready to show you. We have such a backlog of Cities pieces that are waiting to get cast and painted.
Yeah.
And when we have them, we have a bunch of lively stuff cooking.
It feels like there's going to be a point where we hit the floodgates and like all the pieces start coming out.
Wow.
It's just been getting to that point.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Have a wonderful night. If you're at Gen Con, thanks for stopping by. It's fantastic to see you. Hopefully you are COVID negative. You can stay safe. We'll see you next week. Thanks everybody.
So